Well, hello everybody. Mark Comfort here, and my wife Mimi and I, who are the owners of Cruise Holidays and Comfort Tours, 34 years owning this wonderful company. And one of the highlights of our career has been hosting groups. And I want to tell you, I personally, for whatever reason, get more excited about hosting a group to a brand new country that I have never been to, that I really want to go to. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're hosting a group on AmaWaterways, brand new. This is the first river cruise line that has a presence in Colombia, South America. And I'm so honored to have the project developer, project manager. I actually gave him the title of president of AmaWaterways South America division, which he said he's not, but I like to give titles anyway. But Beno Atan, he is on the screen there, and I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what Mimi and I are so excited about, and then I'm going to turn it over to Beno. He is actually in Colombia right now. We'll ask him what city he's in, because I don't remember where. And I'm not talking about Columbia, Missouri. I'm talking about Colombia, South America. And this trip, with what we have learned from Beno and Marcy New and all the AmaWaterways people, is going to be a spectacular experience for almost every area of what people are interested. Number one, I think it's going to be a cultural experience, maybe second to none. The scenery, there's all sorts of different kinds of scenery in Colombia, and especially in the mountainous regions. It's just absolutely breathtakingly beautiful and very lush, almost jungly in a lot of areas. So the scenery part will be very appealing to most people too. And then what I love and what really gets me going is the history. And the history in this part of South America and this country of Colombia specifically, I'm so excited about. You're going to learn about how the gold that was found in South America, a lot of South America, was shipped right out of Cartagena and Barranquilla, where we will be going to. And some of it was stored in a place called MOMPOX in a couple areas that there still might be lost treasures, a lot of gold there. We'll find out. But so we've got culture, we've got scenery, we've got history, and we've got an experience that I think will be second to none. And going to a new country, and especially a country, and most of us know this, that has had a lot of history recently, say in the last 30, 40 years, that has not been as positive as we would like. But as far as that goes, meaning drug lords, that's all gone. That's all past tense. And now it's been named one of the most welcoming countries in the entire world. Now, one of my jobs is to follow trends of popular new destinations where tourists are going now and where they will be going in the very near future. And Colombia has been phenomenally high on that list. And it's been really popular with I call it the under 50 crowd of the world, going to Colombia and seeing this, because there's so much to see, so much to experience, so unique. It's a beautiful culture, I can tell already, and you're going to hear all about the details. So, Beno, I'm going to let you tell us about the country of Colombia. I'm going to let you tell us about the itinerary that will be going on. And if you don't mind, I really want you to talk about the brand new ship, the AmaMagdalena, that we will be on, named after the Magdalena River. That is the biggest river that runs throughout the country of Colombia. So, Beno, take over. It's all yours. I might interject as time goes on, and then we'll have some questions at the very end, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Mimi, for you guys for inviting me over to be able to show you a little bit about this product. I'm very happy to be here with you guys, and please interrupt me, you and Mimi, anytime, any moment. I love to answer questions. This is a project that we've been working for a while. Since the beginning, it's not just a country, it's a new country for you guys, but also for AmaWaterways. And this, when I brought Christine and Rudy and we went out scouting on the river, this is some of the pictures and the videos that we were scouting at early 2001. After years of been thinking of what are the next rivers to make available for guests, for AmaWaterways guests also. So they came here. We went on a boat for almost 7 days around the river, looking for all the different activities and for all different culture and deep immersion into the river. It was amazing for me to see how Rudy and Christian reacted on the river, if this was a good project to develop or not. So I'm so happy for them to be able to decide to come to Colombia to develop this project and to make it available for everywhere in the world. Yeah. At the same time, I wanted to show you a little bit about, this is not just Rudy and Christine. There are many different other famous people coming into Colombia and trying to bring the world know and aware of the culture in Colombia. So this is the case of Wade Davis, for example, just recently at the beginning of the pandemic, published this book called the Magdalena River of Dreams. And we actually were very lucky last week that we were at the shipyard looking at the AmaMagdalena, the ship, with our naval architect, Lauren West, she's from California, and Camilo Restrepo, which is our Colombian architect who's designing the inside experience of the ship. And we were able to run into Wade Davis. He was very happy to get in contact with us. He's very happy to come, even probably to join us some of the experiences on board of the ship. So then a little bit about developing this. This is just me. This is how I travel, and being able to explore this is different to develop a new destination that nobody else has go. So it's not just you guys or AmaWaterways. No, there's no other river cruise cruising in the Magdalena River. So we need to go out there and look and curate the right experience for all the guests. That's why we arrived into the beautiful concept of all the different locations. And just to show you a little bit, it's easier sometimes to see it in a map. Magdalena, it's a huge river. It's the longest river in Colombia. It's 1,600 kilometers, and it flows south to north. So it goes up and out to the ocean in Barranquilla. Yeah. So Colombia is one of the only, the only country in South America. They have two oceans. So I have the Caribbean Ocean, or the Atlantic, and also the Pacific Ocean. This river goes all the way out here in Barranquilla, and our idea to connect and to cruise in the river was to connect all the different moments in history of the country. You know, Colombia was before, even when Bolivar was trying to free Colombia of the Spanish Kingdom. Colombia was a huge country. It was called the Great Colombia. It was Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, and even Panama. That was all. The whole country was all of those different other countries. So the history of all of that at the time, it came through the Magdalena River with Simón Bolívar. So the itinerary, basically, we will go from Cartagena, embarking in Cartagena for a 7-night cruise, going in the dike canal, all the way to the Magdalena River. This is a man-made canal by the Spanish. Actually, to take the gold, as you said, Mark, to bring the gold out to and deposit it in Cartagena. So we will be cruising on that canal. It was actually built 300 years before the Panama Canal. Yeah, it's very old, man-made canal to connect the river. Visiting Palenque, then Calamar. I will go through the itinerary with you in a second, but we will go upriver, basically through the MOMPOX arm, and all the way up. The highest up that we go on the river will be El Banco, where we turn out the ship, we go back down, and we start navigating, sailing down over to Mangangue and to end near Nueva Venecia and in Barranquilla. This is a 7-night itinerary, 8 days, in a beautiful ship. Yeah, the AmaMagdalena. We actually are building 2 different ships, the AmaMagdalena and the AmaMelodia. The AmaMagdalena will be the first one sailing on the Magdalena River. And this is it's a concept art, but since I was telling you we were just visiting the shipyard last week in Cartagena, these ships already look like this. So we're just arranging and creating the right experience inside. It's not just the river doesn't have any other cruise, but we need to be able to bring the high standards that you guys are used to have in AmaWaterways product like this. The service on board, the gastronomy, everything that we can have available. Since some of the locations where we stop they're very remote. So this is the AmaMagdalena. We'll have on top here, we'll have a pool, the sun deck. We'll have a different experience as a secondary alfresco area, closer to what we do as the chef table, but it will be a different experience, new for AmaWaterways also. So we're trying to develop new things for our guests here in Colombia. These are just a few details of the different categories. So we have 30 staterooms for 60 passengers in total with 30 crew. The length of the ship, or the dimensions basically of the ship, they are like this, and we cannot go wider or longer as the ones in Europe, just because of some of the bends of the river. They're very narrow, so we're not going to be able to turn. And also because of some of the locations that we stop, they're very remote. They're very little. If you bring like 150, 200 passenger ship to one of these locations, it's a lot of tourists coming to these places. So that's why we believe that this is the right size for Technicolor, and also for taking care of all these locations that will be the first time receiving our guests on the river. So just going into the detail, into the itinerary, Wonders of Colombia will be a 7-night cruise from Cartagena, disembarking in Barranquilla. And so we will go like this, as I was explaining, and we'll go directly deeply into what are we gonna do. So first, in Cartagena, embarkation day. We arrive there, we go on board. If depending on the time that you arrival, you have lunch. After lunch, we wanted to do a Getsemaní tour. Getsemaní are these pictures here. You see, it's one of the main neighborhoods in Cartagena. Cartagena, the actual name was Caracalí, and Getsemaní was the next neighborhood with some of the slaves and some of the people who work in the main city. The city will lived. Today is so beautiful, so amazing. We want to know about the history of the place in order to get in contact with what is going to happen at the next day. So Cartagena, because it's known mainly because of gold. So we want to know about gold. I'm going to explain you a little bit further when are the options to visit the gold museum, for example, on this itinerary. This is day one. Day two will be Palenque. Palenque is the first town free of slavery in all South America. And they're all descendants of people from Africa. So when you arrive to Palenque, you need to imagine as if you were arriving to any small little village in Africa. And it's exactly like that. In 2005, the UNESCO declared World Heritage Site because of the culture, because of the language. They even today is a mixture because the language is so pure. It's mixed, but at the same time, it kept it so pure, the same language that they used to speak. So it's a mixture of Spanish, Portuguese, and African. It's a place that we definitely want to go. We definitely want to visit. The drums, the music, the culture, the gastronomy of this place is amazing. So we will be arriving there early in the morning to Gambote. We'll disembark. We'll take a bus for 15 minutes to visit Palenque. So we'll do a morning visit to Palenque in order to come back for a special lunch of Palenque gastronomy on board of the ship. After that, we continue. We'll be do cruising in the afternoon, through the Dyke Canal, arriving to Calamar. And Calamar will be just stepping there for 2 hours. Calamar is just where we're gonna first meet the river, since we were just on the canal. The first time that we're gonna meet the river, we're gonna learn about Calamar. We're gonna do rickshaw historical tour of Calamar, disembarking there with a special performance of all the cultures that they live on the Dyke Canal. And then we need to keep going. It's a long sail to be able to get to the next location. So we will be cruising during the night in order to arrive to Pinto. In Pinto, day 3 will be a dock, and in Pinto is a very, very small little town with a lot of crafts that they still preserve, but only for the local economy, because there's not much tourism in the area, and they're very isolated sometimes because of how the water levels of the river are. So, for example, show you here are pictures of, these are buttons made of a small coconut seed of a palm, and of an endemic palm that grows in the region, and they actually make wine out of this coconut. So we'll be visiting there for a couple of hours. We'll see all the different crafts and on the area. Also, there's when I was scouting all this area, I met a fisherman, and every time you go in the river, you see different fishermen or agricultures that they're always with like a cigar on their mouth, and they're so used to be able to be fishing, throwing the nets or working in the ground, but with a big cigar. So there's actually a gentleman there in this town that they hand make their own cigars. So we wanted to go and visit him and see and learn a little bit about that. So this will be for the morning. In the afternoon, we'll be cruising the canal to arrive to MOMPOX. So this is the palm that I was telling you. So that they make the buttons, and it's very interesting to see the palm because there's specific wildlife that they feed out of this, but also because there are a lot of people that make wine. There's a very fruity wine out of these coconuts. It's very tiny coconuts. So we will be seeing these also wildlife. This is a section of the river that we'll be cruising in the afternoon. I have a lot of wildlife. You even sometimes can just hear the howler monkeys right there next to the ship on the trees. And in the evening, will be 5:30 more or less. We'll be arriving to MOMPOX. MOMPOX is known for on the festivals today. The major 2 festival is a jazz festival. They always happen in October, and also Easter now. So we'll wanted to arrive to MOMPOX to a jazz performance. This is actually on the plaza, the Square of Jazz in MOMPOX, and we will be having an exclusive jazz performance as soon as we arrive with the ship for sundown. Then in MOMPOX on day 4, this is another picture of Rudy and Christine where we were scouting a while ago. In MOMPOX on day 4 on the morning, we want to go to Pejinho. This will be an exploration, so to be able to get immersed into the amphibian culture of the people who works there, who fish in the area, and also because there's so much wildlife. You want to be able to go early in the morning to be able to see some of the wildlife. In Colombia, you know, we have more birds than United States and Canada together combined. So there's so much wildlife here that we really wanted to experience with our guests. So for the morning, we'll do the exploration to the Ciénaga of Pejinho, to this area here. And in the afternoon, we'll do the historic town of MOMPOX. So when you, Mark, were explaining about the gold, all the gold from not just from Colombia, from Peru, from all the different countries in South America, when it was taken to Europe, there were 2 major ports where they took the gold out. And one of them was in Panama, and the other one was in Cartagena. And because Cartagena was attacked so many times by many different pirates from different nationalities, the Spanish knew that the best way to keep the gold safe was to safekeeping the gold somewhere else. And MOMPOX was that. So MOMPOX is like a small city, Cartagena, in architectural speaking. And it was just because they kept the gold there. And all gold, emerald, silver, everything in MOMPOX. That's also why the culture in MOMPOX, it was developed through that, and a lot of the art was still together there as the filigree. Today, you go to some of these workshops where the people are working on silver with this filigree, and it's amazing, beautiful work, and so delicate as they do in MOMPOX. So on that afternoon, we want to learn about the history of MOMPOX. We want to walk through MOMPOX. It's a place that we're going to be there 2 nights, so it's a place that you feel the need of just walking by yourself and going and explore by yourself. So we want to give you also the option to do that. And in MOMPOX, for example, here, this is the Albarrada. This is the boardwalk right next to the river. So where we actually going to be docked. So these are the places. There are plenty of restaurants, plenty of nice different type of local artisan beer, craft beer, and gastronomy amazing. It's one of the places that kind of like got stuck in time, and MOMPOX was for many years just outside and kind of like forgotten because the river changed the course, and this one it lowered the amount of water that it came. So that's why for many years MOMPOX was just stuck in time. After MOMPOX, it comes the cumbia. Cumbia is the rhythm of the mother of all the rhythms in music in Colombia. It's kind of like the one that brings the right tune for all the other rhythms of music in Colombia. That's why I don't know if you've heard, but they always talk about Colombia being the country with 1,000 rhythms. They're all actually they're a little bit over 1,000, 1,135, I think, rhythms in Colombia. But cumbia is the mother of all of them. And cumbia was born in El Banco. That's why it's so important. That's why we want to go to El Banco. So we'll be cruising from MOMPOX to El Banco during the morning, and we'll be arriving to El Banco after lunch for the local craft market that they offer every time they have the cumbia festival. They will set it up for us every time our ship gets there, and then we will have dinner. This is the day where we're gonna have dinner on shore. So we'll have a special dinner for us. And a special cumbia performance. Cumbia is so known, you can see here in the picture of the women's dance with all these candles in the hand, and you can see how the candle comes down in their arms. It's a beautiful dance, it's a beautiful performance, and we wanted to take our guests to see definitely the mother of all rhythms, cumbia. Next day, day 6, we turn the ship. Right after Banco, we turn the ship. We're already going down the river, and we go to Mangangue. Mangangue is one of the major cities, the second largest cities on the state of Bolivar. And we go because nearby Mangangue, there are all these different wetlands that we want to go and explore. So we will be able to have experience to either do bird watching for the morning by boat, or we do a small hike during the morning. We'll be there only for the morning and just trying to catch these wildlife. Some of these species, for example, these ones here in the middle, they're endemic. You just see it here. You don't see it anywhere else in the world. And these are the kingfishers. But these are the 3 different kingfishers, and this is one of the places where you can see the 3 of them on the same day at the same spot. So we will be going out to see some of these species here, and then in the afternoon we'll be sailing down the river, getting every day closer and closer to Barranquilla. Next day, we go to Nueva Venecia, or the New Venice. Nueva Venecia is a small town that live on stilts. So it started just because some fishermen went out there and they were fishing for maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks, and they just started bringing some huts to spend those days, and eventually become Nueva Venecia. Today we want to go and we want to visit the school, the police station, the soccer field, the recycling plant that they have there. It's a beautiful location to visit. We're going to be anchoring the ship on the river, and we're designing actually the excursion boats, like they will look like this, very long. So we're designing our own excursion boats to be able to go to Nueva Venecia and visit the Nueva Venecia, the different activities that they have in the normal day of the people. We call them amphibian culture people in Nueva Venecia, coming back for lunch, for a late lunch on the ship. And in the afternoon, we'll be arriving to Barranquilla. Barranquilla is everything about Carnival of Barranquilla. This is the second largest carnival in South America after Carnival of Brazil. And I live in Barranquilla right now because of the project. And every time I get the chance to be in February in Barranquilla on home, I'll go to see the carnival. This is a performance that we have a special performance for us every time the ship arrive. As we do, for example, Oktoberfest in Wilshofen in Germany, we will do here, and we'll be able to experience the Carnival of Barranquilla. We'll be able to dance and even wear some of the costumes if you feel like going into dancing in the Carnival. Mark, this is the itinerary. I don't know if you have any questions of the itinerary before we move into the different land program packages that we also offer, but these are the 7 nights of the cruise.
Yeah, and Beno, this has been fantastic. I love the colors, everything I'm seeing, the colors. And it hit me that, gosh, I forgot to, I said this itinerary is spectacular for culture, for scenery, for history. I forgot wildlife. I forgot to talk about, I bet for a bird lover, this is paradise. My wife has become, we call her a birdie or a bird nerd here since the pandemic, and all this gets so exciting. And all these exclusive performances that AMA has put together, I think, Beno, will give us a really, really, really good feel of the Colombian culture, don't you?
Yes, definitely. That's why even though we know that some of the festivities happen during the year, we want to create that, we wanted to offer that experiences to our guests. So that's why they're exclusive as the Carnival, and we will have Carnival every week, every time we arrive to Barranquilla.
Kind of like your Oktoberfest in Wilshofen, Germany, I believe that is, over in Europe. So the goal Mimi and I have, and we're going to market this real aggressively to our royal family, and that's our group of people that have traveled with Mimi and I so many times over the past years, maybe just once or twice, but they're a group of people that have become very, very close to Mimi and I, and this will be our royal family trip. And our goal is to charter this entire ship, the AmaMagdalena, 30 rooms, 26 staterooms, and there's 4 suites, the 2 big suites and 2 minor suites. And our goal is to charter this whole ship. I think it's just great. Now, we went to Beno and our friend Mrs. Google and asked when the best time of the year to go would be. And believe it or not, we've come up that the best time of the year to go is in July. So we have chartered this ship from July 20th through the 27th of 2024. So not this coming July in 23, but this is July 20th through the 27th of 2024. And we're going to be some of the first people, especially here in the Midwest, to go to Colombia that on a river cruise. I think this is so exciting because they're starting in late March or early April of 2024 with their first sailings. Now, I also, as just my nature, I want to see as much of this new country as I can. And I've heard so much about the coffee and the cacao and the beautiful mountainous scenery. And there is a 3-night pre-package in Medellin, which is in the heart of the country. And I will be doing that. I will be hosting that pre-package, followed by a 2-night pre-package in Cartagena, where we will board the ship after the 2 nights on the 3rd day. And Mimi will be taking that group there. But I will be taking my group after we go to Medellin. We will go to Cartagena and meet up with the rest of the group. So we look to charter this whole ship and bring a lot of tourism to you, Beno, and this beautiful country. Could you share with us a little bit about this pre-package, which I believe will start on July 15th?
Of course. So the first one is Medellin. If we come to Colombia, it's all about coffee. Yeah? And Antioquia, the state where Medellin is capital, it's one of the main places where the coffee arrived for the first time into Colombia. So we wanted to take our travelers to see the coffee, to experience, and even to taste all the culture of the coffee. So we'll be arriving to Medellin for 3 nights. First day we'll do the check-in. The second day we'll do a full day of tour and coffee near the city, Medellin. We'll do amazing tasting of why it's so different. Why so different to the coffee from Brazil, to the coffee from Vietnam, and it's so appealing for the taste. So I always say the best coffee is the one that you like the most. So you will know to be able to know exactly which one is your favorite. But Medellin also, because of the history of Medellin, we wanted to talk and we wanted to go and see the art. Yeah, the change that the city has and everything that happened after all of those bad years of Medellin. Medellin today, you just go there and you just breathe innovation, culture, art, history, and that's why we wanted to take you to some of the different locations, how the social transformation in Medellin happened. So this is on the third day, and we wanted to take you to Comuna 13. Comuna 13 is one of the comunas where the government implemented this way of transportation. There are escalators. You see here in these pictures here, there are escalators through all of these, kind of like a favela that you see probably in Brazil, but this is a major place for art and culture. You just go there and you realize how for many years the people was put into their homes and they didn't have the chance to express themselves, and today they're so free and so able to express all the insight. So you go there and you see poets, you see musicians, you see artists on painting, and that's why we wanted to take you to Botero Square. Botero is one of the major artists it's still alive. He actually is turning 92 this month. And we wanted to take our guests to Botero Square to see all these beautiful sculptures that they have there. So on that city day on Medellin, we wanted to be able to learn about the history of what happened in Medellin, learn what's Medellin today, one of the most innovative cities in the world. And I actually got prizes for being one of the most innovative cities in the world, together with Helsinki and Milan. And also to learn about the art today, what we see today. So that will be Medellin Land Program. And then we will fly. So from Medellin, on day 4, we'll fly into Cartagena. And in Cartagena, you want to know of everything that we will be talking about, the gold and how the Spanish conquered this area, how they fortificated the city to keep everybody away. So that's why we want to visit the San Felipe Castle, which is this one here under. The San Felipe Castle, we want to go inside of the Naval Museum. It give you a Naval Museum. It give you a very good perspective of how the city was fortificated in order to keep everybody away and keep the gold safe. So we wanted to go to that, and also the gold. We want to see the golds. So brand new exposition of the Gold Museum in Cartagena. That's everything that we have to visit and experience in Cartagena. So yeah, Mark, I think it's so much to see. I can be talking for hours, but I know that we have limited time, and it mainly is an immersion into the history of the country is told through the history of the river, basically.
I think this is so exciting. You got me even more excited than I was before this webinar. Okay, so I do want to know. I have a couple questions if I can take this time to ask. And
yes,
by
please.
the way, those of you that are watching, you can get a hold of your vacation advisor here at Cruise Holidays Camp City. You can get a hold of Lynette Talge, our group coordinator on this group, or myself, or Mimi, and we can answer your questions and let you know everything about it, what the deposit is, the total cost, everything. But let's talk a little bit about this, because I think this is so exciting. Beno, the one thing that everybody likes better maybe than a spectacular new country or experience is a great value. Tell everybody, if you will, because this will be a great value, and I'll tell you why. Beno, tell us the exchange rate, as it is at least today, between the Colombian peso and the US dollar, please.
Yeah. Today it's 4,500 Colombian peso to $1.
So our dollar is very, very strong there, and I got a feeling we'll be able to buy a lot of wonderful gifts and things, coffee especially, cacao, and for a very, very, very reasonable price. But that also translates into a great price for the cruise, and we'll get into that in a little bit too. electrical currents, 110, did you tell me?
Yes, 110. Same plugs as you have it in North America. Yeah.
Same plugs, I love it. And I think the biggest thing that you have impressed me with throughout the whole country, I think we're all going to be very, very surprised at the culinary expertise, not only the culture with the colors and the rhythm and the dancing and the overall experience, but you have told me so many times how the culinary part of this experience is really special, which is why AmaWaterways is doing so many of those exclusive performances and that meal out in the town. I think that just sounds great. But is that true? The culinary part of Colombia is really phenomenal?
Yes, and actually for this area that we call the Lower Magdalena, we are actually doing an exploration with our gastronomical director to learn about how can we have exactly the right products of the Lower Magdalena perform with the high standards and quality of the gastronomy of AmaWaterways. So it will go through the rhythms, we will go through the river, but we also will go through the gastronomy that today for me it's unknown, but it's similar to what was years ago through the gastronomy of Colombia. Is just something that it's about to be discovered.
And I know a lot of our clients will probably, me included, will want to maybe take some time out and miss a meal on the ship to go experience a restaurant that might be very, very special for the kind of taste we have. And I know you and the staff there at the AmaMagdalena will be able to help us if we so opt to do that. Let me ask you a quick question that a lot of people will ask me, so let me ask you on that. Many people of my age remember the drug cartels and all of that. What do you feel, how would you respond to somebody that asks about the safety while they're traveling in any part of Colombia?
Yes, so I think for many years it was so out there that the main thing was the drug cartels and everything. And at the beginning it was difficult because Rudy and Christina have the same concerns, have the same questions before they even came to Scout. And one of the main things that we talked was the biggest risk that you have here is to be welcoming with open arms with everybody. That's why the big slogan of the country is the most welcoming country in the world. And this is just something that you need to be aware that you can be walking in MOMPOX in some of the streets and somebody just wanted to talk to you, and then out of the sudden they're just going to offer you, you want coffee? Do you want to have lunch with us? Do you have it's so welcoming. The people is so nice to be able to bring you that the years of the drug cartels and all of that, they're long gone. The country, it's in a different position today. The new government is actually doing great things for that, and we're working hand to hand with them. So it's amazing of how we feel so comfortable, so that peace of mind in general to be able to doing this. So yeah.
Well, I know AmaWaterways would never, ever, ever, anywhere in the world, take their clients, guests, and crew any place that wasn't safe. So I'm 100% comfortable with this. My wife, Mimi, is 100% comfortable with this. And we know you will find that to be true too. Listen, I also know this because I know a whole lot of people my son and daughter's age that have been to Colombia. Matter of fact, my daughter's attorney partner says Colombia is her favorite place in the entire world to vacation to. And she's in her early 40s, late 30s. And so that age group, they've already found Colombia. Now it's time for us to find Colombia. Okay, I have something. This is so cool. Beno knows, we've talked about this, that I'm a big baseball fan and I follow baseball big time, especially now that baseball started up and that a lot of great players come from Venezuela, which borders Colombia, and there are some great players from Colombia. But little did I know that in the area that we'll be traveling in, Beno told me that baseball is the #1 sport, not soccer, in that area. Now, not the whole country, but the area that we'll be river cruising in, correct?
Yeah, the first time that I got here and I was driving by the street, oh, look at the stadium. You're used to anywhere in South America, you look at the stadium, but the stadium was a weird shape. And I started looking closer and closer. It was a baseball stadium, like a huge baseball stadium. And then I realized how big the baseball in the Caribbean coast. It's so big in Colombia. Yeah, so yeah, very fan of baseball, and I live now in Barranquilla, and the baseball team of Barranquilla is very big. So I even have tickets every time they play. So.
Well, I tell you what, maybe I'll do that as a tour. Maybe you and I can have a tour to go to a baseball game there. And I'll bring baseballs because I do that in the Dominican Republic. And I want everybody to know this little tip I have, and I do the same thing with soccer balls in different parts of the world where soccer is king. But bring a baseball or softball, and I'll tell you, you can trade that for about any amount of money in the world or any kind of gifts or coffee or cacao. Okay, and last but not least, and I just wanted to know this because I'm a big historian and I absolutely am enthralled with the Incan history, primarily in Peru. Was there any Incan history, I just don't know this, that got to Colombia?
Well, the Incan Empire went all the way farther, so it got to some of the places in Colombia. So the Tahuantinsuyo actually lived for a couple of years also in Peru, developing some projects there. And the Inca is not that big as it is in Ecuador, for example, but there is remainings of the contact with the Inca Empire here. But the culture, this is the thing, the cultures in Colombia, they're so big. Today, there's over 80 different languages in Colombia, indigenous languages. Even today, many of them, they're still spoken. So as you go a little bit farther from the river, a little bit farther east, and you start seeing all the different cultures in here in Colombia. So not necessarily all area in Colombia Inca, but there's still today. There's sections where the indigenous communities, they live there and no outsiders can go. For example, the Sierra Nevada of Santa Marta. So yeah, there's a lot of indigenous cultures here also.
Okay, my last question, I promise, I know my audience is probably
ready please.
To do something else, but one of the things we researched is the river supports 2,735 species of animals. Is that correct?
Yes. Today, the section where the river is so long, right? So this is the upper, the middle, and the lower Magdalena. So we would love to be able to go farther up to the middle Magdalena, but the lower Magdalena is the one they have not all of the species, but all of the species that you can have. So the rivers start going up, the elevation it's getting higher, and you have more species. In this side, main things are birds, monkeys. There are even some manatees in some of the sections that we're still researching if we're going to be able to experience some manatees on the area, but definitely one of the most biodiverse countries in the world, but square foot also.
Yeah, I've read about that. I think that's so exciting. So listen, we've got this beautiful flyer we've got made up. It is on our website, but we can email it out to you too if you're so interested. It'll go through the entire itinerary that we just went through. It will talk to you all about the AmaMagdalena brand new ship that we'll be on. And again, if you're just tuning in, we're going to charter this ship, which means take over the whole ship, July 20th through the 27th of 2024. Mimi and I are. And then before the cruise begins, I will be doing, it's actually 5 nights in total, pre-packaged. 3 nights will be in Medellin and 2 nights will be in Cartagena. Mimi will take the group that wants to come into Cartagena but not go to Medellin. And so there's 2 options for you as far as pre-packages. Or if you don't want to go at all, you do not have to. And we'll help you with your air, we'll help you with the travel insurance, we'll help you with whatever else you want. You might want to go to Panama when this trip is over with. We can arrange that for you too. It's through AmaWaterways. It's very, very close and very easy to do, and the air connections are great. So I would say to you, I'm excited to explore a new country. That at that time will be my 109th country, and I want you to come with Mimi and me, and we'll meet the great people of Colombia. We'll learn about not only the culture and get a great cultural experience, but also the scenery, the history, the wildlife. It's going to be a trip that I think this trip is going to exceed your expectations more than you would ever guess. I've already tested this with so many of our clients, and everybody goes, what? Colombia? I go, yes, Colombia. You're going to love it. So anyway, send us when you get this webinar. If you want to send it to friends and family and invite them to go with us, it's first come, first serve. The first 30 people, actually 29, because Mimi and I are going, couples or solo travelers that sign up with a deposit, and then the final payment will be due, I believe it's 90 days or so before we go. So Beno, on behalf of my wife Mimi and myself and our staff here at Cruise Holidays, we want to say thank you so very much. You've done an outstanding job of presenting this incredible experience that you as product manager have developed. So I'm very, very impressed. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to getting to meet you personally.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
There we go, everybody. So check us out online. By the way, you go to our website, find this incredible flyer that we've got. Look at that. I love Nicole did this flyer. I love the colors.
So much color, yeah.
Isn't that just fabulous? I love colors, and I love culture, and I love history, and I love wildlife, and I love scenery. So this ought to be right up my alley. Culinary too. Hey, I've never done coffee tasting. I cannot wait to do coffee tasting. So my 109th country might be my first coffee tasting experience I've ever had. Okay, everybody, get a hold of us. You can also call us if you'd like at 816-505-1500, Cruise Holidays in Kansas City. And again, this is July 20th through the 27th of 2024. And we would love to have you join us. Thank you, everybody. Beno, thanks so much. Adios, amigo.
Adios.
And play ball.